Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abhishek Jain, and I'm pleased to invite you all to the second episode of the Master of Arts or the MA series by Planty. Today, we will be covering a Master of Arts in Strategic Fashion Marketing from the London College of Fashion, University of Arts, London. Towards the end of this session, we will also be having a Q&A session for which I would request you all to put your questions in the live chat box. Today, we're very fortunate to have with us Aishwarya Arora, a graduate of the 2018 batch from NIFT Delhi or the National Institute of Fashion Technology, Delhi. She further went on to pursue her Master of Arts from the London College of Fashion. She's currently working as a digital content creator at Cultre Boat. In this session, Aishwarya will be speaking in detail on the application process to the London College of Fashion, as well as the opportunities available both during and after completing an MA from the London College of Fashion. I would now like to hand it over to Aishwarya to begin this session.
Thank you, Abhishek, for introducing me and having me over here. I am Aishwarya Arora, and as Abhishek has already given you a brief about my basically my study background, I would like to continue straight away with what my experience was at London College of Fashion. I pursued my degree for MA, that is MA in Strategic Fashion Marketing at London College of Fashion. I graduated in batch. I'm basically a graduate from 2019. I would like to start with the conversation that like how one should apply for this university. So it's a very simple process. Though I think people are slightly scared when they think about applying to this university, that the admission process is going to be really tough. But then honestly, it's not. As long as you have your portfolio set and as long as you know you know what you want, because of course it's an expensive affair. So as long as you know what you want and what you want to pursue in your career and in your future, I think University of Arts is a really helpful platform for you to eventually help you to grow and to get you connections in the industry. It also helps you to establish good skills when it comes to your skill set. So when we talk about who should apply, I would start with specifically somebody who is genuinely a fashion enthusiast, not just somebody who is not just somebody who is slightly fond of fashion or have slight interest in fashion. No, specifically for strategic fashion marketing, it is a theoretical subject. But then at the end of the day, if you have no interest in fashion industry per se, you would face slight difficulties. Me being from a fashion based background, I did my bachelor's from NIFT, as Abhishek has already told you. Me being a fashion student, I still had slight difficulty when I was pursuing my degree, because considering my bachelor's is entirely a practical degree, and then we shift to a theoretical degree. So that is one thing that you need to consider. Other than that, it's purely for people who love marketing, who love how to sell products in the market, who have to, who loves how to present the product in the market, how to brand the product, work for a brand, the branding identity towards it. So overall, the entire process of marketing that you actually study in any, for example, any marketing course, even if you study it in MBA, or even if you study in different degrees that is not fashion specific, this course covers all of it. And not just that, it also makes you deal with actual real industries, that you face real brands and you work with real designers, you work with real brands in the industry. That gives you a good exposure. Moving on to how to apply, it's a very simple process. The university is associated with one of the agencies here in India, that is called LUIs. Other than that, if that's not something that somebody is looking for, I personally applied to the university myself. There is a three-step process. You submit. There's a written process that you submit all the question answers that the university asks you for. Other than that, the second level is followed by a portfolio. So this all comes under the stage one process of the application. Once you submit the questions and the portfolio, then you proceed to the second level, which is basically once you hear back from the university. After you do that, there's also a research proposal, a part of the first stage, but then it comes slightly later when you have crossed the first level of the question answer round and the portfolio round. Then comes a research proposal, which is mandatory for every student to submit. So what basically is research proposal? This entire degree is based on your thesis, what you're going to write, and what you're going to submit at the end of the year. If the entire course structure is divided into 3 terms, the first term is basically an introduction to all the core subjects that you're going to be studying, and a slight in depth about the industry. The second term, you actually work with the industry. Simultaneously, you have more communication based subjects that help you around in the industry when it comes to your work, when it comes to how to communicate your work, how to communicate the design specifically for me, considering I'm a design student. So how to communicate, how to present, what exactly goes with the brand. All in all, it's a package that you study in the second term, and simultaneously you actually collaborate with somebody in the industry where you get opportunities from brands that the university presents a lot of opportunity that you can collaborate with. And even then, if there's something that is not something that interests you that the university provides, being a brand name like London College of Fashion is a brand. It's a brand in itself. Even if you approach anybody, that like nobody says no. Honestly, like you will get the opportunity with the project that you want to work with. Then after this is the second. This After clearing the research proposal round, whatever the research that you're going to do throughout the year, then we have an interview for the shortlisted candidates. And then once that interview is through, that is how you get through the university. It's a slight exhausting like I would say it's not like when it comes to talking about my experience with the application process. Me personally, I start I start becoming anxious when something is not complete. So I think I was one person who started writing my research proposal and the SOPs and every question answer that was required, and preparing my portfolio and everything that went on for like good 4 months. But it's honestly not that long process. If anybody really wants to apply to this university, 1 month should be a decent amount of time for yourself to prepare your portfolio, for your SOPs, and for your research proposals that you want to submit to the university. I think that's there. It's a little exhausting when it comes to the application process, but then I think if anybody is passionate about getting into that university, anybody can do it. Then later, I think the opportunities and skills acquired upon completion of the MA degree. So I basically did my like I have been studying throughout. I don't think I'm capable to study after having a gap year or anything. So I went straight away for my masters after my bachelor's. So more or less, the bachelor's degree, I specialized in fashion communication, gave me skills, not just the design, just not the design that I talk about when I talk about the skills, but also the communication skills related to how to advertise something, how to advertise a product, how to market in the product, and so on and so forth. So it was quite an integrated course that actually helped me realize that this is what I'm interested in. Like, yes, I love designing, I love my job, I love my work, whatever I do, I am absolutely in love with my work. But then other than that, I personally, some brand, if I want to establish myself as a brand in the market, I do have to understand how do I market myself. So strategic fashion marketing is just that does not just teach you how to work for a brand, but also teaches you how you, as for example, I freelance on the side, so I do need an identity in the industry, right? So it also teaches me how am I supposed to market my skills, how am I supposed to market myself, what kind of a brand I want to portray myself as into the industry. So anybody, from any fashion student, from a normal student, we actually had a lot of people from different various background, and there was not just fashion specific. A simple interest in the fashion industry is decent for pursuing this course. And yeah, that's about it. The opportunities and skills, when I talk about, yes, since it was an international market, I got a really great opportunity to work in the UK itself. I worked for 7 months with a brand called Melissa Brasil. It's a sustainable brand, and I actually, you know, got my hand. I was hands-on working with them. I was working with their social media marketing team. I was also helping them strategizing their product in the market. I was also helping them designing their communication. I was also helping them how one person could, present themselves in the market. So and so forth. So that was one of the opportunities that I got within 1 year of my course that I really feel I think I was blessed and I was really grateful. I feel really grateful about. Other than that, upon completion of my MA degree, uh, UAL is a brand. You walk into that country, you walk into this country, you walk into any country, people look up to you, and people expect a certain level of, I would say, a certain level of, they have certain level of expectations already set in their brain that this is a person that is graduated from London College of Fashion, and this they're supposed to be good or anything. That honestly is a pressure that's there for sure. I will not deny that. But yeah, upon completion, people do look up to you, and there are plenty of opportunities because London College of Fashion trains you to face the actual practical industry. It actually trains you to work with the practical industry. It trains you for future and how hard this industry could be. Like personally, I think this conversation should have happened like 2 months back, but then I never got a chance to actually sit down and have this conversation and tell people that yes, you should be prepared for a fight. This the fashion industry, the design industry and the fashion industry is a tough call. So of course, if mentally you're prepared that this is the industry that you want and this is the goal, these are the goals that you have in your career, and this is what you look forward to in your life, this is something definitely worth taking for. Then comes about the common myths that we usually have about the fashion industry per se. They're very stereotypical myths that guys cannot do this. Like the industry have gays. The only fashion designers pursue such brands. And the biggest myth that I would like to clarify that only fashion students can pursue strategic fashion marketing. No, I have said this again in this previous conversation. We had classmates. The batch was about good 65 to 70 people. We had classmates who were from a CA background. We had classmates who were from a business background. We had classmates who were even from an engineering background, and they shifted their interest to fashion marketing. So it is a very, I would say it's a balance of a practical and a theoretical course subject. I would say theoretical, yes, of course, but it's also practical since the college and the university gives you plenty of opportunities to use those skills in the industry itself. So I think the most common myth that I would like to clarify that anybody can apply. You just have to have the interest and the knack for marketing in basically in fashion industry specifically. And even then, if you decide not to pursue your career in fashion after taking this degree, you get so much to learn. There's so much so much growth that you will experience, the exposure that you get at the university, the people you work with, the faculty, the teachers, even your juniors, your seniors, other batchmates, other course mates, everybody. You get to work with everybody. It's just not your batch. You will work with other management students at the luxury brand management students. You get to work with the technology students. You work on projects where there will be opportunities that you're collaborating with other universities that come under the University of Arts, for example, St. Martin's, London College of Communication. It's a great opportunity for anybody who's looking something forward for their career and something to really learn. That's one thing I would really like to mention. uh, of course, if somebody wants to settle down in UK, there are plenty of opportunities. But if somebody wants to come back to India, I rest assured you guys should not be worried about you guys not getting a job. That's not in your plate. Of course, you guys will. I would like to clarify that it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth pursuing. Other than that, the general tips for students who wish to apply for, I would say that maybe you guys will, if you're coming from a practical based background, like initially, I faced a lot of difficulties in my first term. Even if, like, I have a commerce background and then I did my bachelor's, but considering those 4 years of my bachelor's at NIFT, I was completely out of touch of theory. I was only doing practical based. I was giving juries. I was doing a lot of projects, creating stuff, designing stuff. But then the theoretical part of the marketing, that theoretical part of the communication, I lacked. So I sort of faced a lot of difficulties in my first term at my university, and it took me a while. It took me 3 months, 3 to 4 months, like first quarter basically, the first term entirely. It took me to catch up with the rest of the class. Catch up as in, like, we're not judged on our assignments, we're not judged on anything, but then just to understand and just to relate and just to, we have classes every day when we come back, and you have to the hang of it, the hang of theoretical subjects, that is something that is important for anybody who wants to pursue this course specifically. And I think even the other MA degrees, like theoretical knowledge, theoretical habit of learning and grasping things is a must. That is one of the tips that I would give you. The second tip I would give you: do not leave any opportunity of collaborating with anybody. Like, there is so much, so many things happening all at once in that 1 year that you might even miss out some. It's practically impossible for you to catch up on every single thing that is happening in every single department and every day and every week, because there's always something. Like, you'll just walk into the college and then you'll see a poster hanging up at the board that, Stella McCartney is collaborating with the college, and there's a project opening for 6 students overall, and so forth. Imagine, like, I was so surprised when I saw this, and I actually missed this opportunity. I never got to register myself for this particular project. But then I was so surprised that, being in an institution where people look forward to, being in an institution that, you can do something about, you can create something of yourself about the world. If you can influence people, you sit in the position that you people are going to listen to you. So that is one that I think that's really important for anybody who goes and pursues this course, that please, guys, do not take this lightly, because this is sort of a power that you guys get. And I would honestly recommend, if you could use it for somebody's good, some good that we can create in the industry, or something innovative that we can come up with, or anything. We have all the resources present in that university. So that 1 year, please do not, like, I know, like, I get it. Like, when I left India, I was like, yeah, UK is something that I'm looking forward to, and London is the dream city to live in. It definitely is. You should not miss that out. You should chill, you should relax, you should enjoy. But I would definitely say, do not miss out on these opportunities, because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity that you will get in that during that year only. And after post your degree, you might apply to certain things. You you know might be in a position to get in touch with somebody, or contact or collaborate, yes, of course. But these are the opportunities that the university gives you. So why not make the best out of what the situation we get into? So this is something I would personally recommend: do not miss out once you go there. And the last, of course, please chill. London is beautiful. London is, honestly, it's very close to my heart, and it's really beautiful. You get the best of everything there. Like, if you plan to manage your studies, if you want to work part time on the side, and you want to enjoy, you can do all three together. That's fun. That's for sure. I think that covers all of it.
Thanks a lot, Aishwarya. I think that was a very, very detailed session, and thanks a lot for sharing your experience with both the degree and the university, because that was very useful. Now, to start off with the Q&A session, I actually have a couple of questions. So I think I'll want to start off stage by stage. So to go from the application stage for this particular program, could you elaborate a little more on the things that different activities or different internships that a student could actually do during their undergrad to actually increase their chances of getting into such a program, and that will also probably help them get a better portfolio and a better resume?
So when we talk about better portfolio and a better resume, since I said that, and no, you don't necessarily have need to have a fashion-based background or a design-based background. Of course, it's a plus point that you do. So I'll actually divide this question into two parts. For the people who are coming from a design based program or a design based degree, I would like to suggest that you should just you should also you should be you should have the a portfolio that represents most of your skills. Like if you do graphics, you should have graphics. If you do photography, you should have photography. And if there's anything that in a way that you could document the portfolio in a way that basically if I pick up a portfolio and I see that this is how this person has presented its himself or herself in the portfolio, that is one of the major things that I think the interviewers at LCF look at, that how you're presenting your work, no matter the amount of work you've done it. I think presentation is a must, and the way you document it, that's something that they look forward to. This was for the design. Like you should have for design students. I would just like to say, like I would just like to sum it up in one sentence, that as many as skills as whatever you guys want to do it, just do it in a presentable way and then in a simple way, so that if somebody in anybody in their way of understanding, people in UK, their way of understanding is very simple and to the point. So just be very clear, very thorough with whatever you're presenting, because you will be questioned on your portfolio, that's for sure, in your interview. If you get the opportunity to reach the stage 3 of the interview round, you will be questioned on whatever work you've done and however you have documented it. How did you get that opportunity and why it interested you in the first place? So that's something that you should be prepared, just not visually, but also when it comes to your interview. For the non-design students, personally, I do not have experience with that, but I would say that portfolio is it's a slight it's a of course it's a setback that if you guys do not have a portfolio, but then if you can put forward your interest and your skills in your SOPs and your research projects or research proposals, I'm sorry, research proposals, and all those question answers, that the basic question answer the application process has, and if you are able to manage to represent yourself in a way that the interviewee, who's looking at the application, gets to understand who you are and why you want to be in this industry in the first place, I think that'll do a decent job.
Yep, I think that answers the question. Thanks a lot for that, Ashwarya. And I think this also takes me to my second question, which is again something that you had discussed, which is with respect to the research proposal. So, if I understand, this is actually a very important component of your application process. Could you elaborate a little bit more about how an individual could go about choosing a topic and how they could actually come up with a good proposal of sorts?
Okay. So when it comes to the research proposal, when you submit it on during your application process, I would personally say that a person who is passionate about something in the industry, that should be your topic. For example, if somebody wants to research, who is genuinely interested about doing a research on a particular topic. For example, I was really interested in fashion technology, how how fashion and technology plays a role, but that was not something feasible for me. So my initial proposal was on fashion technology, that how fashion and technology goes hand in hand. I was actually researching the sensory marketing in the fashion industry when I submitted my proposal. But it turns out that, of course, me being based in India and me going abroad, my all my connections and all my people I could talk to and all my people I would need in the industry to talk to are based out of this country and not UK. So I did get admitted on the basis of a fashion tech proposal per se. But then, when, of course, once I was there, I realized that this is not something feasible for me because I do not have those connections there. And to establish those connections, even if you are in touch with your faculty, even if you're in touch with your relatives there, even if you're in touch with your friends of friends, so on and so forth. ABC doesn't matter. You need personal connections in the industry for doing such a research. So I would suggest that pick up something that of course interests you, pick up something that is very intriguing to you when you write about it, because this is something that goes on throughout your year. Your research, your thesis, the entire research project goes on throughout the year. It's a year long process. So do not pick up something that bores you. Do not pick up something that, eventually you think you'll get stuck at. Like stuck at being stuck is not a bad thing, of course. But what I mean by stuck as is, like, for example, I did not have my resources for researching on tech. So that is where I got stuck at. And that is something I realized 3 months later. So please, I would genuinely request pick up a topic that is easier as in you have access to resources and you're confident enough that no matter how difficult this entire process gets, you will have things to come up with and you will have people to help you out with. You will have resources, you might have books, you might have contacts from the university that gets you the information that's required. And you, of course, you have to test it out in the industry as well, that if this is actually relevant to the industry in 2021. So pick up something that is relevant to today's time and pick up something that you're really, really passionate about. And of course, like, it goes hand in hand. If you're passionate about something, you won't get bored throughout the year studying about that.
Thanks a lot for that, Aishwarya. And I think this probably brings me to all the questions with respect to the application stage. I think my last question is also somewhat of a myth that a lot of students have when they're actually applying for any master's program in general. So, what if you had to make a comment on the importance of having any kind of work experience before taking up such kind of a degree? Do you think that it's something that you felt was very important, or do you think that this is a degree that a student could do straight after their undergraduation?
See, mm, of course, you can do the degree straight after your graduation, but I would genuinely request people to have some sort of work experience before they go for this degree, because it helps. It helps with your degree throughout the year. So definitely you go. Like for me, I was personally, I got lucky maybe somehow that I did have my freelance experience throughout my college life, and considering it being a practical based degree from my bachelor's, it really helped me. I have witnessed people who were stuck. There were other people as well who came directly after their graduation, after their bachelor's degree, under graduation basically, and I have seen them being stuck at some positions in their throughout their course. So I would suggest some experience. Does not even necessarily have to be a proper full-time experience. It could be freelance, could be internship, could be your personal projects, could be anything, but something, some basic understanding of how the industry works really, really helps there.
All right, thanks for that. And I think with that, I come to the end of the Q&A session. So thanks a lot, Aishwarya. I think that was a wonderful session. This is going to be really useful for students in the future who are actually considering this degree and this university. So thanks a lot for taking out the time for this.
Thank you so much, Abhishek. Thank you so much for having me.
Yep.